It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy. Yes, it's too easy. Half a sec. Oh God, it's Major League. Half a sec. Half a sec. Okay, back. Bang bizango Cassper Nyovest. Cassper Nyovest. Bang bizango Major League. Major League. Bang bizango Riky. Half a sec. Don't dash. Bang bizango Cassper Nyovest. Bang bizango Major League. Half a sec.
Slyza Tsotsi. Slyza Tsotsi. Baleg. Slyza Tsotsi. Baleg. Slyza. Slyza.
Hello and welcome to the 9th episode of LOTv's Let's Talk the Round Table. On the agenda today, politics. On the 3rd of August we go to the polls, but are the youth engaged? Or is it true, are we apathetic, indifferent, completely disinterested? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And because we're with Livity Africa and we're pushing the hashtag 2X campaign, which looks at galvanizing young people to have these conversations and to participate in politics, we're going to be getting to very tricky political talk, but of course we're going for it. And as you know, I always have guests with me who stay real and are not afraid to express their opinions. I have two of your favorites from the past, Lelo Mateke and Paige Miller. Guys, how are you doing?
Hey.
Okay, and today, special shout out to a new guest, Mhlali Tsabo. Mhlali, how are you feeling about being at the table for the first time?
I'm actually very excited.
Okay.
Looking forward to this discussion.
Okay, is it a bit unfair that I've called you in for politics itself?
No, it's not. I'm just hacked that you're only calling me now.
Okay, we'll turn hacked into happy soon, I hope. Okay, let's quit with the jokes and get straight into it. Lelo, what do you know about the hashtag 2X campaign?
Hashtag 2X campaign is just basically about conscientizing the youth and conscientizing the youth as political beings who have power in the country and who are shareholders of this democratic society we live in.
Okay, it's brought to us by Livity Africa and the Live South Africa movement. Okay, so the VIP Live South Africa movement, which is voting is power. I think that's a lovely slogan, or that's a lovely title to be working with. Paige, what are your feelings about that? Is voting power?
You know what, I really feel like it is, and I feel like it's the best option we have to get our voice across, but I also think that campaigns like this only work for people who already care. That's the actual problem. You're only there if you already care, and those aren't the people we're aiming for.
Okay, Mhlali, how do we get people to care, the youth? Because this is about registration, this is about reading manifesto, it's about an ongoing conversation and ongoing involvement that's supposed to lead to the vote and lead to the change that we're all looking for.
I think the thing then goes back to this thing of actually putting the youth into power. Because now our structure is full of old people who don't really care much about what the youth is saying or trying to say in terms of grievances. So yeah, it goes back to checking out all the old
That's controversial, but I know that many young people share that sentiment. Lelo, what do you feel? Do the old guys need to go and pass over the reins, or are we the ones that are not ready to continue or to step into leadership? This is politics. It's tied to economics. It's tied to the welfare of the country. Are we qualified as young people?
Why are we not qualified? You know, and who said that the people who are currently in power right now are the qualified ones, right? So think about it this way. We live in a kind of society or in a kind of political, space where our leaders, political parties, our political structures are sort of divorced from societies they represent, right? And that's what happens when you put struggle veterans in places of leadership, especially political leadership. Because in apartheid, yes, we were out here, we were fighting race, we were fighting the racial divide and all those things, and then democracy comes and you don't know what to do, right? I'm still baffled at the fact that, you know, I'm going to go cast my vote for a party that doesn't see me, you know? So I think there definitely needs to be some sort of, I don't want to use the word transformation, but transformation in relation to who represents us, especially as young people. Why shouldn't we have a 25, 30-year-old in the presidential seat?
Wow.
You know?
Okay. Now, to touch on what you said in terms of our parents and the old generation being the loyalists, right? Paige, how do you feel about, I don't know if you've seen this, but on social media there's a hashtag called Hide Your Parents' ID. So when voting comes, we take away from them, the older crew, right? The ability to vote, the loyal ways they've always been voting, so that we can have our say. Is that too drastic? Is it unfair? Because we're infringing on their rights.
Yeah, we are. But I mean, the fact that it's gotten to a stage where we feel as if we need to infringe on other people's rights, just to make them open up their eyes and say, that was great once, it doesn't work anymore. You know, when your children are saying to you, this is now my country, and I'm trying to tell you, this doesn't work for us anymore. This is not where my generation wants to go. And no one's listening. And the second you stop listening, then all of a sudden you're a traitor. And that can't be the way we run our politics. On traitorhood and this loyalty that shouldn't exist. It's ridiculous. So when you get to a stage where there's so much frustration that you're actually hiding people's IDs, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And it needs to be recognized.
Okay. Michelle, let's talk about registration. Let's talk about numbers. What if not enough of the young people, right, the future leaders, the position holders, the decision makers of the next 10, 15 years have not registered? What does that say about us?
First of all, should we find out why they haven't registered?
Okay.
Because clearly there should be a reason as to why they didn't register in the first place. So it then goes back to finding the actual problem. So investigating why haven't you registered? Because I, for one, haven't registered.
Wow, can you tell us about that? What made you decide not to engage in that way?
I mean, it got to a point where, as they were saying, you're voting for someone who doesn't recognize you. You're voting for a party that doesn't recognize your grievance as the youth. Because you are seen as inexperienced, or you don't know much of what you're talking about. So, yeah.
How would you feel if you were accused of then letting down young people because you choose not to vote? So you could have had a say, and now you're compromising what could be a youth movement.
But then my question will be, will my vote be considered? Okay, it will be, but will my grievances be taken into account? Am I voting just to keep people in power, or am I voting actually to see change? Is there change happening?
Wow, that's a good question. Is change happening? What do you feel?
There's a sense of hopelessness. Actually, I mean, I know I'm registered, but there's still a sense of hopelessness, like what is my vote going to do? It doesn't matter who I seem to vote for, the party that I feel doesn't represent me is always the one that seems to come up on top.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the students now of our age group are at a sense of, okay, we'll vote, but we know it's still not going to go the way we want it to. Our country's still not going to land up being what we want it to. Okay. So I feel like a lot of it's just hopelessness. And then, honestly, from the interviews I've done as a journey kid, lack of caring. It's lack of caring.
Okay, now, as I said to you guys, the hashtag 2X movement, which I encourage you to follow on social media, and please engage as far as you can. We are trying to strengthen youth participation. And I was talking to someone later on social media who said, okay, so we have demands as young people. We want land reform, we want free education. Now, respond to that and then tell me in your own terms, what do you feel young people want or should want from government, politics, leadership?
I think young people want and should want to be empowered.
Okay.
And to have access to the economy. That's very important.
Is that land reform? Is that free education? What is access?
Access can be, it's interpreted by different people in different ways, right? So I know that for me, access to the economy is very important, but access to the economy in the sense that if I wanted to start my own business, for example, having done all my research, having done all the admin that's time to start. A few courses maybe, you know,
qualifications, experience,
etc., etc. I should be able to start that business with no problem. it shouldn't take me 10 years to get the business up and running, to say, finally I have an office, I have a group of, 1 or 2 people who I'm working with to make this thing work, right? So that for me is very important. I think what the young people also should want is to feel as though they have power as political beings, right? Going back to the whole voting thing, if young people just decided, asi vote, all of us,
imagine.
What does that do to the political dispensation right now? What does that mean for democracy rolling up? What does that mean for our economy? What does that mean for our educational institution? What does that mean for South Africa in general, right? So it for me, biggest thing is empowerment.
Okay.
Empowerment in different ways, whatever empowerment looks like to you, whatever it looks like to me, just empowerment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paige, are protests maybe the way to go? Because we've seen with student protests and youth protests countrywide, we have shaken it up a bit, right? Now, if we start to infiltrate the political sphere in a very serious way, for example, the EFF's young people are very, very vocal. They are active, right? You feel them when they're in your city, right? We would know if they were in Grahamstown right now. So are youth protests the way to go?
You see, I think the thing about the protests are very, very controversial.
Of course,
The
as
thing
they should
about
be.
the protests is that they're legitimately, every single time, in my opinion, a result of people not being heard. It would be great, I'm telling you now, it would be great if I could go into my office, write down a young memo, send it out to the people in power, they read it and they listened. Fantastic, that would be amazing. It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't. So when it comes to the stage of, the students are burning ties, yeah, but what did the students do before they were burning ties?
Yeah.
Tell it in context.
Yeah.
Could we just say, honestly, of course, everyone in South Africa gets upset and gets involved into protest because our leadership doesn't listen to us. They don't listen to the people. So once you vote them in, now you must just sit there for 4 years while they destroy your country. It doesn't fly that way. It
And
just doesn't.
protests have always been a part of our history. That's how things have happened in this country. We take it
It's
to the
the only way
streets.
we get listened to.
Okay, so to wrap it up, Mihlali, the one thing you want leadership to listen to in regards to what you're expecting in 2017, what's the one thing that has to be heard?
Listen to the youth. Can you phrase your question?
Okay, so we're sitting at the round table with political leaders and they say, we're willing to listen. What do you think they need to hear from us?
I guess then it goes back to this whole thing of grievances are different according to people.
Yeah.
So I can't really say they should hear what we say.
One message.
Yeah,
Okay.
one message. So it just goes back to listening to the youth.
Okay.
Just listen to what they want.
Wanting to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Lelo, jump on that.
Listening, definitely. But I'll take it a step further and say that once you've listened, then what? What I would want from our political figures is for them to be able to say, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice my position and give it to someone younger, fresher, smarter, and give them that empowerment and give them the liberty to lead in their own way. Because at the end of the day, it is that specific figure who's more in touch with us than the older person was, right? So transforming what our political parties and our political seats look like,
Okay.
That's it for me.
Paige, we'll give you a last word. What's the one thing they really need to hear us saying, crying, shouting?
I feel as if for both parties, ourselves included, we need to stop seeing ourselves in leadership as the other.
Okay.
This country is not made up of them and us. We're together in this thing. Surely our goals should be the same goals. Surely we all want it to be better. So stop calling me the other. Don't say the students are in violent protest. No, the country is in a violent protest. We're doing this together. We're fighting for something together. Decide, are you for the country or for your party? Make a life choice.
Make a life choice, right? And 3rd of August 2016, we're going to see, are the youth going to come through and have their voice heard? Will there be change? Is 2017 predictable? Do we know what's going to happen? Or have we yet to be surprised? Follow the hashtag 2X movement on social media. Please engage, guys. It is all up to us. This is a country that we are taking forward, whether we like it or not. So what are we going to do about it? That's LOTv, Let's Talk, and the roundtable signing off. I'm your favorite host, Lee McBrown. See you next time.
Slyza Tsotsi.
Yes, the Kunda bands with the whatchamacallit.
But do we believe that we can actually change stuff? Let's be honest, we're all on social media, trying to motivational, inspire, but do you believe that the youth vote is going to change anything fundamentally? Because that's the issue, right?
I don't think the youth vote would. Not the vote itself. And I think we need to stop treating the vote and the voting process like it's like the best way that we can bring about change. Yeah.
But now you're contradicting yourselves altogether.
I mean,
so the youth vote can't change anything while we're having this conversation.
Because
if you're all just going to the
it goes
beach,
back Anima, changing the entire structure. Because to be honest, the youth can vote, but then the same people are still in power. And will that change anything?
So is it how we vote?
No, I feel
Changing
like
structure.
we have to have some kind of hope because
Changing the structure is
to stop trying is pretty much giving up on us, on the country. Like, what do we have there?
Okay,
What
guys.
is it that we actually
If
have?
we're talking strategy, he says change the structure, right? I say vote differently, speak differently, express differently, right? What do you say? What's the one thing?
Do all those things.
I have a question.
Do all the things.
Do all the things.
Okay.
Vote. What?
Vote differently.
How do you do that?
That's about making things unpredictable, right? We all think that the vote's gonna come out one particular way.
No, I'm for
Let's
that.
change that.
I'm for that. Because
right?
if you look at it, I don't have issue with the ANC. I have issue with the fact that the ANC has no competition. So they feel lazy. So they feel they can do what they want and get away with it. If they had a competition that was yay close to them, just there, bro, they wouldn't screw us so much. They wouldn't. Because they knew the second they did, it's fine, we can change it.
Yeah.
I promise you, all you need is competition. Keep the ANC, whatever. But give them some competition, some real competition.
And change the structure itself.
Between them, they have to fight to see who can satisfy us the best.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
And isn't that what democracy is all about?
Yeah.
You know? Political parties competing with each other to give us, the citizens, the best.
Yeah.
Well then, 3rd of August, let's get in. Let's get in, right?
Let's get it.
Good luck to all of us, dude. Good luck, South Africa.
Slyza Tsotsi.